So, Five Nights at Freddy's. I really should understand this, but they take a long time on the channel. The plot, the problems too, because one, I knew from the start it would fix a lot of problems I had previously in the series, and two, get how understandably so not really to be problem, it not being as scary as the previous games, but we'll get right to that a little bit later. Now, what are the problems I had, or general problems for anyone else about Scary Breach? Well, one, Fane has something to do with it. Is that I don't know about you don't know about this one, but people have people saying that it's not as scary as the other games. It's it not being scary as the other games is off and doesn't really make much sense. Here's what I mean. So the series start out, after Saracen scary, then it had a mix. Then it still was scary. Then it had, still was scary, but some people describe it as a bit more scary. Then a bit more scarier. Then it still had the scariest something of all of the series. Then it had a mix of non-scary and scary stuff. Then it continued on this trope of having scary and non-scary stuff. Then it was scary as a VR experience. And now, because it's not as scary as this one's not as scary as the others, that means it's bad. But really, really think about it. People expect, different type of stuff, but you really think about it, some people expectation of what type of stuff they need is of having less of it or having none of it at all is a lot better. Like this case, a bit better. Listen, reason why I understand I knew from the start it would not be scary as the others, well, because of one thing. One thing is because it was the only one in the series that did not follow the entire lore. Sure, it kind of did. It kind of did. Unfortunately, that kind of is what we're going to explore now. Second, this is a big one. For some reason, it kind of views to not prove that UCN is canon. Here's why I explain. So, in what is now the canon end of the game, which the Ruin DLC will explore more, which by the way, it's coming out next year. Let me see. Now, it goes and reference the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria similar location. But that location burned down to the ground and is supposed to look like it's supposed to be the end of the series. Looks like 3 other games were supposed to be the end of the series. Now here's the thing, and I have to say this, but in Security Breach, which we're talking about now, the game we're talking about now, in this game, you enter the place. But for some reason, they brought it back. Now, if you recall, my other video, some of the animatronics from UCN had originally appeared from that game, which means they tried to prove that UCN is canon, still canon, but thankfully it almost failed. They almost avoided. thirdly, and this is obvious reason, the whole Gregory is a robot theory. Now remember, the UCN's canon theory was first planned by MatPat, and ever since then, he found years later have applied for another theory that Gregory is a robot. Reason why this should be disproven because one, the stuff that Gregory does to show he's human that robots can't do. Well, one thing, he survives against animatronic. That's right, he survives against something that's dangerous and scary. Second of all, even though he's the player character, for some reason he's allowed to burn off Afton in the end of the game. Which, by the way, robots normally would not be seen burning stuff. And thirdly, he destroys the animatronics. Robots can never be shown destroying stuff either, or survive things, or fourth and finally, somehow Gregory in the game is seen speaking full sentences. Robots can talk, but normally they mostly talk when they say what they're programmed to do. And of course, this also goes to the third one, Afton returning in the game. Now, I find with Springtrap, or Scraptrap, or Spring Bonnie, whatever his alternate alias he has. At first, in the start of the series, the start of lore, he starts out as being coded the purple guy. Then, in the third game, he turns into another being called Springtrap. And then, in Pizzeria Simulator, Fazbear fights Bird down and becomes Scraptrap. Then becomes specific code and he becomes Glitchtrap. Then, in this game, he becomes Burntrap. Oh, and my next reason, the Blob. First of all, it's way too confusing to be in this game. Second of all, this was a letdown. I figure out at the end of the game that the thing is in the end of Fazbear and Tor teaser 1. I found out when that thing appeared at the end of that teaser. I figured out that it was nowhere near what I expected. Turns out, thankfully, it wasn't Circus Baby, but for some reason this big spaghetti Freddy thing that turned out to be called the Blob for some reason, because, well, it's a blob. It's a Freddy blob. But it also didn't had Funtime Freddy as just his head. Also, for some reason, they had Bonnie, Chica, Mango, Circus Baby, the puppet. What, some reason had those red eyes, which I just kind of can't count having anything since that's only canon in the Fazbear Frights books. And Redmond is only canon in the Silver Eyes trilogy. Which I'm gonna get to tomorrow in my timeline video. By the way, before I sign off, I want to say one last thing before we go. Now, I really like Security Breach, and I had a few problems with it, but this is the biggest one to me. Now, I have to say, there's something different about it. There's something so off and so different that I had not to have it point out here. Now, real DLC is fine, but for some reason, someone, anyone can clearly say that you can't say FNAF Plus is scary. Even though people try to say it. Fry Popcorn said it, the other guy somewhere else said it. Now, comparing these two is like saying artwork is more cool than pictures, even though they're practically the same thing but a bit different. No, I can say that it's fine if you use something more scarier, but here's the thing. The reason why saying FNAF Plus is better is because it's a fan game. I know I've seen my share of fan games before. But that's not the biggest problem I have with this game. No. The biggest one is that they never solve any mysteries we still have to this day. And that's where I say I go and get my timeline video tomorrow. After I come back from my job training, my first day of job training, for the 8th year of Five Nights at Freddy's, for the 8th year anniversary of this series, I'm finally gonna do it. I'm gonna do a remake of MatPat's old video by making my own claims and theories. So join me next time tomorrow, and make sure to like and subscribe. Anyways, that is it for now. I'll see you when the timeline starts. Bye.